Okay, hello my friends, my name is Darren Gerdes. Here are the four big stories for today. So Russia announces nuclear weapons drills after an angry exchange with senior Western officials. So what's going on? The drills are in response to provocative statements and threats of certain Western officials regarding the Russian Federation, the Russian Defense Ministry says. Well, but they've always done this. They've always done this nuclear saber rattling. Here's 2008, Russia invades Georgia, the neighbors, Ukraine are included, worried, want to up their defense, but Putin issues a nuclear threat to Ukraine over plan to host U.S. shield. How about that? A little bit further down, and we see example after example. Russia has a track record of being absolutely lovely, non-threatening at all country, a reliable player. What could possibly go wrong? How about 2015? Russia threatens Denmark with nuclear weapons if it tries to join NATO defensive shield. Putin shows in 2018, Putin shows Russian nuclear weapons. It isn't a bluff. How about 2018 December? That was March. Putin warns the threat of nuclear war should not be underestimated. Like, this is all he's got going on, is just nuclear threat, nuclear threat, nuclear threat. Even Yeltsin gives U.S. a nuclear warning back in 1999. So they've been doing this for a long time. Now, Jay in Kyiv rightly pointed out, imagine what would be happening in Poland today if we bowed to Putin's threats in 2007 and 2008. Russian threatens nuclear attack on Poland over U.S. missile shield deal back in 2008. Okay, so they've been at this for a long time. Now, Russia rattles nukes as French President mulls sending troops to Kyiv. They're not there yet, but he's thinking about it. So that's what this story is in Forbes. How about this? This is TVP World. 1,500 French Foreign Legion expected on Ukrainian front line. That is, in the future. But not to be undone, we see in Pravda that French Foreign Legion already has suffered its first losses in Ukraine, and we're not sure that they're actually there yet. The French Foreign Legion suffered its first losses in Ukraine after arriving in Chasiv Yar, where Ukrainian troops found themselves in a very difficult situation. If this information is correct, the French Foreign Legion suffered its first losses, up to 7 people, in the Special Military Operations Zone, the correspondent added. Of course, if they're not there, and they just pre-wrote this, makes you wonder. Okay. Next story, this is the third big story. The head of EU diplomacy, Joseph Borrell, opposes the presence of EU representatives at Putin's inauguration ceremony after the so-called elections, European Pravda has reported. I think that's the right move. They shouldn't be there to give some kind of tacit agreement to an election that was probably laced with fraud. Okay, big story number 4. Russia has switched to using overland routes in occupied eastern Ukraine to supply its front lines after repeated attacks by Ukraine on the Kerch Bridge. Analysis of satellite images show that almost no military freight trains have plied the bridge's rail line in over 3 months. Yet, the Kerch Bridge will eventually become the Kerch Pier. I'm pretty sure about that. Okay, I know I said 4 stories. Let's make it 5. Russian source, I just saw this a little bit ago. This is Special Herzan Cat, Russian source associated with Russian military aviation reports about the crash of a Su-34, number 21. And so I thought number 21, that's interesting. How many have there been over time? And I found this in semi-reputable public sources, but I haven't really found it out there in really verifiable legacy media. But Special Herzan Cat does a really good job. So let's see. But my question isn't, has it been shot down, but the context of it. So this article in Newsweek is from March 1st, so a few months back. How many Su-34 fighter bombers does Russia have left? And the answer was really shocking to me. As of Friday, Ukraine claims to have downed 35 of them. The Oryx open source intelligence tracker lists 25 Su-34s destroyed. If Ukraine's figures are accurate, the Russian Air Force would have about 105 Su-34s remaining in service. However, an unknown number may not be operational due to damage, lack of pilots, and required routine maintenance. Now, that's just Su-34s. There's Su-24s, there's 35s, there's other things along those lines, but that's not as big and bad as I would have thought. So that's an interesting thought. Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes. Thank you to my patrons. By the way, I keep putting this up about Patreon, and I'm putting this out here. You can join for free. That's perfectly fine. I just want my audience to be over there as well, just in case anything goes wrong with YouTube, as has been known to happen. But I want to say a special thanks to my colleagues and to my board members, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.